we're already living that reality. And I think, I think, I think the spike in online gaming, drug use, and wasted time on social media is just the result of it. It's just humans are already losing their occupations to machines,
Yeah.
and I think we're diving into like a quote unquote therapy, but it's just like distraction. We're in the biggest industries, the biggest companies right now are all the companies that sell distraction. If you look at
Yeah.
Facebook, you look at Google, you look at Netflix, all these companies are humongous. They're the biggest ones in the world right now.
Yeah.
I read some interesting thing the other day. It was that tech companies and drugs are the only two industries who call their customers users. And I thought that was like such an interesting
Oh,
statement.
yeah.
That it's like really like that type of that's what that type of industry is. It's we don't think of our cell phone and the information stream that we receive from the internet, our relationship with the internet, as some type of drug, but it does release dopamine in your brain, and it does react the same as a drug.
Yeah, it's crazy. Because like these tech giants, yeah, they purposely make the app in order for you to get stuck in it, and then they'll find. Because like you look at it, like Facebook for example, once you finish one video, the other video plays instantly. You know, and it's feeding you content, endless content, like immediately after the other. It's like so like once you finish one, you can get another rush again, and then another, and even like getting your attention from the likes and stuff. It just makes you get sucked in for an hour, like or like more than an hour's day, you know.
Uh-huh.
And that's how they make their money.
No, for sure, bro. Like it's crazy.
That's why everyone's loading TikTok because it's an instant next video. Like in
Mm.
Wait,
instantly.
people are deleting TikTok?
Yeah, I know so many
Really?
people that delete TikTok because they get stuck into it for hours. Like it's
My mom deleted TikTok too. I wonder if that's like a phenomenon.
I delete TikTok as well. Yeah.
I wonder if TikTok was a cash grab to like cuz I always had the argument that TikTok was literally it was an instrument for China to record user habits and the brains of the world. So like you know how everybody uses Google, which means that technically an American corporation owns the information for your individuality, and they know exactly what to sell to you at what time and how to sell it to you, and they know how like what makes you tick, they know what your triggers are, they know how to make you mad, they know what you respond to, they know what you like they created a profile on you. They would know they can based on those like you ever played the game 20 questions where they guess exactly what you're thinking of? Based on these parameters, based on going down a list of check marks, yes or no, you're able to basically determine who these people are, and we're animals at the end of the day, and we're reactionary. So if you know all this information about me, you're probably gonna know who I'm likely gonna vote for. You're gonna know
Yeah.
what I order at McDonald's or what I get. You know what I mean? Like you can basically you control the human being at that point, especially if they become dependent willingly on their phone or on their drug. It's
Yeah.
you can manipulate
like
it.
it's gonna sound really random, but I honestly think that even today the government isn't serious conversation because I just right. Just hear me out. I just updated my Facebook settings, right?
Uh huh.
I took a picture,
Ah, no,
right,
listen to me.
and I sent it to my girlfriend, and I go on TikTok, and it's like three Nazi videos loaded up in a row.
Really?
What is the point?
Huh.
Isn't that fucked anyways?
Yeah, it's like pretty sad stuff.
It's like they're telling you like,
But
yeah,
okay, I don't doubt that the microphone is on and they probably do have like keyword searching. But I believed when they say that they don't need to, and they don't need to use that they can just kind of predict what with what we're doing. Bro,
That's that's
back in 2010, no, they really For all you know, no, but it could be very meta. You don't even know why you dressed up as a Nazi to begin with, but it could have been subliminal messaging that's been going on for a long time. It's fucked up to think about that, but it's bro, when you really think about it deep down, it's like why are you having some of the thoughts that you have during your day? It's like sometimes it could have been just subliminal messaging. It could have been something planted like months before. When you do sales, you literally they teach you how to plant seeds, and you can witness it happen in real time to individuals who have no idea that you're selling to them. They think that you're just being their best friend. And when you can say like a message beforehand and you can slide it in subliminally with like the wording that you use. So like when they get like you ask them like, "Oh, are you replacing an old computer?" And then like they so that opens them up to tell you like if they broke their old computer, and then once you figure out they broke their old computer, you just start planting subliminal seeds. Like while you're talking about the computer, you're like, well, when you like, with this one, if you get this plan and that and this and that, I know you don't like installing computers because you told me it's just like you don't love computers, so we're gonna install it for free, and if you break it like your last one, it gets replaced. Like it's literally there's you can people respond to like information that they're given almost. It's like you give them an answer and they just go with it. It's the same reason why people on YouTube videos like say like and subscribe to my video, because the power of suggestion actually works. Like they have statistics. They're not just idiots who keep on saying that shit after like video 150. Like they know after a couple of videos that this works to actually ask for that.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen the movie Focus?
Nah.
Yeah, focus, bro. The yeah, he manipulates that.
That scene, yeah, that scene where he says guess the number on the bill.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, oh, yeah, I know that. So
Yeah, yeah, and who means five or whatever in Chinese.
it's with the Meek the Australian chick. What's her name?
Margot Robbie.
Yeah, Margot Robbie's in that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's like this rich Asian guy.
Yep.
Yeah, so okay, I watched it on Facebook.
Bro, that shit works, man. It's and it makes people think that there's magic. Like I got big into like thinking about shit like this and like being more self-conscious myself when I took one tab of LSD. I didn't even take a full dose. I did like 100 milligrams like 2 years ago. And when you're on drugs like psychedelic drugs, what ends up happening is like you realize that your reality can be kind of manipulated based on like perspective and based on like the chemical cocktail that you're experiencing at the moment. So if you're like stressed, you may interpret a scenario completely different, and it's just like it's a far cry from what the reality actually is. And you can see that like given with information, like when you're tripping, if you see something like given that information given to you, like given your illusion that you have, or whatever type of illusion, you your entire argument or your perspective on a viewpoint can be completely skewed from the reality.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's if you ever like
But it makes sense to me.
I thought about it like this too. Like after you do like an LSD trip or after you take like psychedelics, your brain like completely resets. Like I had like a bit of a weed dependency before I did LSD, and then I was able to go like 3 weeks. I went a month without smoking weed, and it was
Oh shit.
yeah, and it was weird because like you psychedelics put a reset on the enhanced or on the reinforced brain pathways. So on the pathways you have in your brain. So if you like say given a specific like you have a specific habit, or like given like I don't know, every time somebody talks about native people, you automatically get like tense up, and you automatically like bring up that energy of like natives get something that you don't, and then you have like a negative attitude towards it. That response almost gets like somewhat erased after you, and it's kind of like a reborn type of weird experience. Um,
Mm.
they t- uh, um there's a speaker. It's not Alan Watts, but it's Terrence McKenna, and I believe he made the analogy. I think I heard this analogy from him, where it was basically your brain has reinforced pathways like a ski hill. So if there's a ton of skiers who go down a specific way, that path becomes super, super reinforced. After these psychedelics, it's like almost like a blanket of fresh snow, where when you go through the snow, now you're able to get to the same destination but through different means.
Ah, yeah, gotcha. So you're saying to get world peace, everybody should just take LSD.
Yo, not really. I think there's an argument to be made that this could be manipulated negatively because the new pathway that you create could be completely negative, right? You can take somebody down a negative path and then reinforce that pathway. And you can also, if people aren't uh the issue with LSD is it makes you contemplate your own, like you have a different perspective on your own life.
Yeah.
And oftentimes people don't live their lives in such a way that they want to confront all those ideas in a different perspective. And it could create like issues. It could make issues even worse if you're not ready. I don't actually, I don't condone using psychedelics until you do research on them at all, or even, like they're not even like substances you want to take. Like I took it once, and you kind of don't want to take them ever. You have to hype yourself up to take them. It's almost like you get anxiety taking the drug. It's not like not the same thing as like smoking weed or doing other types of drugs. At least my relationship with it is not. I know some people take psychedelics just to see type of like whatever, but a large portion, like the community of psychedelic psychonauts, they're more on usually a different term. It's more for like yeah, they're called psychonauts.
Use that, yeah. It's like Joe Rogan. He always talks about DMT and stuff like that. But I mean, it's true though, because like isn't DMT and like those kind of like LSD kind of stuff? They're used for like a lot of spiritual stuff, like
Mhm.
spiritual rituals. But
It's very
and
therapeutic
then
if you use it properly.
yeah,
It's extremely therapeutic. Like, bro, I had before I took no, actually no, I was fixing my relationship with I had a downfall with my mother like when I was like 20. I lived with her, but like we just didn't have a good relationship back in the day. And
yeah. I'm
um
glad that everything's
no,
fine.
yeah, I started bringing it upon me that I had to fix it. But I remember when I took LSD, it really really was apparent to me that like everything that I held against to my mother was invalid because from her perspective I was able to see that like she did everything in her will, like in her power, and like everything was done to the purest to do for the best, you know what I mean? Like she didn't,
So yeah,
even if
as
you
the
feel
psychedelics give you epiphany.
I guess it was like an empathy epiphany too. It allowed me to empathize with somebody that I had deep resentment with, or deep resentment for. It was like, rather than seeing it from my own perspective and always being like mad, like, oh, my mother did this and she did that, and like we lost our house because of this, and like my family's broken, like, you know what I mean? Like you blame people and like you can't see it from another perspective because you live your own life. So it's kind of like that's what you do when you're I remember when I took LSD, I thought about it completely different, and I thought about it from like my mom's perspective, where like she met this guy and then she got pregnant and she decided to keep me at a young age, and she really showed up for my schooling, and she was like volunteering and shit. She was really involved, and like then you think that like, oh man, like then when you have the realization like that like this is better, then you also kind of appreciate that like, wow, like I'm also her son, so like she raised me to have this own epiphany, so like everything that I'm thankful for right now is as of like a result of her. So like you almost get like a better appreciation of who you are as well, you know? It's like The only reason you're thinking these thoughts right now, or you're free to think like this, is because your parents like gave you that freedom as a kid, and they didn't kind of close your mind, you know? So like
Yeah.
that's part of it too. Like you get like I don't know. There was it's there, a lot of it is not even verbal like communication